Hello and welcome to another episode of Chatting with the Cardinals. I'm Cooper Welch, and joining us as always is my trusty co-host, John Washington. And joining us right now is a former Cardinal, always a Cardinal to us, Chastadie Barrs. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank y'all for having me.
So, Chaz, we wanted to talk to you a little bit about, some of your favorite memories here at Lamar and, transitioning from college ball to pro ball and some stuff like that. So let's just get right into it. First, just tell us your favorite memories of your time playing here and going to school at Lamar University.
I think some of my favorite memories definitely happened on the basketball court. I think the most fond memory that I have is when we beat Texas A&M, because that was kind of a huge thing for our initial program. And just the support we had throughout the entire seasons. I really do miss our fans because they're nothing like they are in Switzerland, but I really do miss our friends and the love that they gave us, and it was like a huge family. I do miss that. So that's probably the biggest thing I miss and I enjoyed about playing at Lamar.
Absolutely.
So, can you just talk a little bit about, obviously you're playing professional ball overseas. It looks like you earned Defensive Player of the Year this year before the season got cut short. So what kind of adjustments did you have to make between college basketball and professional basketball to be successful?
It's definitely an adjustment for sure. In the States, it's kind of a team effort majority of the time, and you kind of focus on that. But overseas, they expect the Americans to do everything. And that's like everything. I mean, score, rebound, play defense, everything. And they hold us to a higher standard as they should.
Sure.
So I guess the biggest adjustment was just learning how to be a little more selfish than I normally was with the ball in Lamar. And a big adjustment for me personally was dealing with the refs. We had 3 refs, and they call very tight in overseas. They're not as physical and aggressive as we are in the States. So that was kind of an adjustment for me. Took me a few games to get accustomed to that, but eventually I got the hang of it, and it wasn't too bad.
Okay. Well, you made your adjustments playing wise, but you also, I'm sure, had to make a lot of adjustments to a completely different culture from the United States to Switzerland. So talk about, some of your favorite things about living in a different country, and then some of the harder stuff.
I think one of my favorite things was honestly the scenery. It was beautiful over there. There are mountains everywhere, and different things we don't have in Texas normally, or what we're not used to. The weather was definitely an adjustment. It was freezing over there, and I did not come prepared at all. I thought I was, but I wasn't. And the language barrier, probably, it was one of the harder things. Surprisingly, people spoke English over there. It wasn't the best English, but French is very difficult to learn, I must say. I tried, but that might have been the hardest part, is that. But I did enjoy the scenery, and it's quite expensive overseas. Is the other thing, in Switzerland primarily. But other than that, I liked the culture, the food, everything that I learned from over there. It was really interesting.
Okay. Did you have a favorite Swiss dish?
Yeah, it's something called raclette. And
Okay.
it's basically cheese. Like, it's just boiled cheese and potatoes and pickles and stuff like that. It sounds disgusting, but it's actually pretty good. But that might be my favorite thing that I had over there that I tried, because everything's basically pretty normal as we have over in the States. So.
Okay.
Well, obviously all professional sports canceled their seasons this year. So can you just kind of talk about what went through your mind when your season got canceled and kind of what you're thinking about moving forward?
Yeah, it was pretty unfortunate. We were just about to start playoffs when the season got cut short. So it was kind of a downfall. We've been practicing for basically nothing. But it was unfortunate. I just was glad. I mean, we weren't able to play. We weren't able to, really practice as much as we wanted to, because that's when they started closing down gyms and everything. So we were just literally just sitting there waiting, and they didn't cancel the league until me and my other teammate got back to the States. So we just left early just because we felt like it was time. But it was pretty sad. I mean, we were doing pretty well, and we had a lot of opportunities to do well and win the Swiss Cup and everything. So I mean, the fact we didn't be able to play that was kind of unfortunate, but it's understandable though.
Yeah. Well, this season's pretty much over, but next year, I'm sure you're going to be playing basketball again. What are some of
Mm-hmm.
the things that you're doing to keep in shape physically and mentally for basketball next year?
It's very difficult, but I'm doing my best just to do what I can here at home. I was going to the
Mhm.
park. I've kind of stopped that now since the cases in Dallas have kind of rose. But um, just working out in my backyard or whatever, and doing a lot of Instagram challenges and workout stuff like that, and talking to
Sure.
my trainer who I have down here. He's giving me, tips on how to stay in shape and how not to, become too stagnant, because you never know when this will all be over. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, you kind of mentioned it a little bit, but did you have what was like your journey back home, kind of like coming into the United States? Obviously, a lot of airports were shut down and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. So, kind of, did you have any trouble getting back, or how was that?
It was very scary and hectic, to be honest. Yeah, it was difficult finding flights, because when I came back, it was actually right after President Trump had said that international travel was done for. And
Wow.
I was scared to leave that Friday, because I was like, okay, if I leave Friday, the airports will be packed. So that's like more risk for coronavirus. So I was like, I'm gonna wait till Saturday to try to leave. So I packed and everything, and my committee got me a flight back home, thank God. And it was pretty hectic. I went through a lot of screening, because I had to go through 2 different countries to get back to the States. And the flights were longer because of that, like maybe 20 hours I was traveling. But
Wow.
yeah, it was pretty hectic. I mean, it was scary. I had my mask, had my gloves, had my hand sanitizer, everything, wiping everything down, because I was so paranoid. I was
Yeah.
so paranoid. But it felt really good when I touched down back in Dallas. I was like, okay, thank you, I'm back home. My family was super excited, because they were scared I wouldn't be able to make it back. So,
Mhm.
I mean, it was scary, but like I said, I'm glad I was able to be
Yeah, we're very glad you're back as well. Welcome back to the United
Yeah.
States.
back. Thank you.
Well, obviously, in addition to the NBA and your season being cut short,
Hmm.
our women's basketball season and men's basketball
Yeah.
seasons were cut short. Um, I'm just going to talk you through a hypothetical here. If after you guys won the regular season championship last year, they had
Hmm.
said there's no Southland Conference tournament, there's no NCAA tournament, what would have been going through your mind in that situation as a senior?
I can only imagine what they are going through, because it would have been, I mean, knowing that we won our regular season, and that was kind of a big deal for us at Lamar to try to go down there and win, Katie. And
Mm,
I know the work we put in when I was there. So knowing that we wouldn't be able to play, it would have been heartbreaking. And I know they're trying to, give them a year of eligibility back and everything, but it's just like unimaginable, because you literally went a whole year and a whole season. So now you got to do it all over again.
mm.
Um, yeah, it's really unfortunate, honestly, but hopefully some of our seniors will come back, and if they're able to, and give it another run. I mean, I don't know, it's just, I was talking to my friend about it yesterday. I was like, I would have came back. I would have started grad school and came back or something, because I would have wanted that shot at Katie and shot at the NCAA tournament.
Yeah,
But yeah,
absolutely.
it's unfortunate, it really is.
Definitely. All right, so we're going to switch gears a little bit, go a little bit more lighthearted. So obviously, a lot of people have a lot more time on their hands. So, what are the kind of things that you've been doing to keep entertained during this time?
Oh, I can't say. Okay, let me think. Because I've been struggling and trying not to sleep all day.
You
besides
and me
working,
both.
besides working out, I've been reading a lot lately, and it surprised me, because reading bores me sometimes. But I've been reading a lot of books that I've had that I found. Spending a lot more time with my family, because we're all
Mm,
home. I have my brothers home, my mom and dad, and everything. So spend more time with them, and playing games, cooking, learning new skills and stuff like that I haven't learned before. Just doing different stuff to stay busy and active. So and hopefully I'm trying to find a way to help people out here in Dallas, because stuff in Dallas is really getting bad and it's worsening. So
mm.
just trying to find a way to help them and do what I can, do what me and my family can to help them out, because it's really getting bad down here.
Yeah, absolutely. What are some of the favorite books you're reading, and like, what's your best dish that you've cooked so far?
I love salmon, so I think that actually no, the best thing I've made so far is stuffed bell peppers. And
Oh,
I
yeah.
did that, yeah, and that
Yeah.
was pretty difficult, but I did that, and it came out pretty good.
Hmm.
As far as books go, I'm currently reading some books I found from high school. And I think one of them are where the red fern grows, and something called Nye by Eli Wiesel. Different things like that I found from back in my closet somewhere. But yeah, just trying to stay busy because this is a difficult time, and I can get bored very, very easily.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you mentioned salmon is one of your favorite things, but what are some other things that you've got stocked up on? I know everybody's got their one guilty pleasure that they just have to be able to get in those times of stress.
Probably, honestly, what have I bought many of times other than, I think, like, just fruit, like lots and lots of fruit. That's hard to come by, believe it or not.
Yeah, no, I believe it.
I'm a health fanatic, so I like fruit and water, definitely water. I had to buy a bottle because I'm picky, so I only drink like alkaline water. So I had to buy a bottle that purifies it because water is hard to come by, especially now. So yeah, that's probably the biggest thing I've been doing, and trying to buy as many groceries as possible just in case, because you, like I said, never know.
Yeah. All right. Well, our last question for you today. You were here at Lamar when we went through Hurricane Harvey. That was a pretty tough time. You know, obviously people bought all sorts of stuff up from the stores, and we didn't have power. You know, a lot of people didn't have water for days and days. But we came back. We came back after Imelda too. And it seems like there's always this urge and this resiliency to come back, both in Lamar and with Southeast Texas. So talk from your viewpoint what it was like to see that resiliency and that courage and that fight back from Lamar and from Southeast Texas in general during Harvey.
Yeah, I mean, it was amazing, to be honest. I mean, like I said, I've never experienced something like that personally and directly for myself. So that was kind of, like I said, crazy and scary at the same time. But just seeing how the community, you know, got together and, like I said, built back and did what they could do to, you know, they didn't give up, basically, and they didn't lose hope. So that was really amazing to see, and it showed a lot of camaraderie and everything. And just seeing, like I said, seeing everybody stick together and not, you know, fall apart was huge. And that's why I have so much, you know, hope. And I feel like we can actually bounce back from this as America, as a nation and everything, because, like I said, we're strong. So it's scary and it's difficult, but I know that we'll probably get through it more than likely. It may take a while, but like I said, I think that a lot of things will happen differently after all this is over.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for taking time to sit down with us today. We really appreciate it, and we're very glad you're back home and safe.
Thank you so much for having me, you guys.
Thank you.
All right. That's been another episode of Chatting with the Cardinals. I'm your host, Cooper Welch. And just another reminder, stay safe, stay home, and keep washing those hands.